you must understand, Charles Darwin was created. Nobody in history comes out of history. I've learned this, really. Nobody comes out by their own genius and simply makes a statement or gives out a theory without the permission of the ruling elite. Mm-hmm. So in other words, the ones who do come out through history are from the ruling elite. Charles Darwin, his great-grandfather was called Erasmus after the Rosicrucian teacher, who was a Catholic priest, by the way, Erasmus, who taught Luther and created Protestantism. That was a great favorite of theirs because they really believe that they set up our religions for us, and when our religion has done its work, they then knock that system down and replace it with another. That's why they're called the architects, you see. And Charles Darwin's great-grandfather only married into one other family called the Wedgwood, and then the grandfather married a Wedgwood. And the Wedgwood or the Wedgwood family that still make the pottery today, which is blue with the white Grecian backgrounds on it.
Yes.
And Charles Darwin's dad married the Wedgwood. Charles Darwin himself and his brother married Wedgwoods. And Charles Darwin's first wife gave birth to 10 children. Each one died except 2 who ended up in lunatic asylums and only lived till the age of about 9 years old. His second wife was his mother's sister.
His aunt.
His aunt, who was also a Wedgwood. And so basically they were so interbred long before he came out with his theory of selective breeding, which is very important. Charles Darwin and some of his other publications he called the masses of people commoners. Now that's what the nobility call us, basically. And we're called commoners because we use natural selection. We marry who we like, you see. Whereas royalty and nobility are all arranged marriages, and they're arranged for their family bloodlines and for their intellect and their wealth.
Like Charles and Diane?
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we always hear about the throwbacks and the terrible things that happen with what they call consanguinity, which is a term used for interbreeding into one's own family. What happens is you have sets of genes which are called recessive genes, such as Huntington's, chorea, and so on. And if you match up with somebody who has a similar set of genes, then the offspring will have whatever disease it is, where it's Mongolism, which is a genetic deformity, or something else, But what it never mentions is the fact is if you have 2 parents who are geniuses, perhaps, say in mathematics, they certainly might have massive physical problems, but the offspring will also be better at math than the parents. So there's a plus side to this massive interbreeding. When you look at the Rothschilds family, who even today only marry their nieces, and you see the IQs that they're supposed to have, like Victor Rothschild had an IQ of 186, apparently.
What is an average IQ?
The average can go anywhere up to about 140. Subnormal is 90 and below.
Mm-hmm.
So you do find these people have a massive capacity. In some respects, that's the ones who manage to survive, or at least shown to the public. I'm sure there's many who either die very early on, or perhaps helped on the way if they're defective. So basically, what we're looking at is a massive, very selective breeding program, which you can trace right back to even Plato's day, because Plato tells you all about this in his book called The Republic, where he sketches out the perfect society run by an elite, where the elite will interbreed and the commoners will carry on as usual and choose their mates for other reasons. And that by interbreeding, the superior would become even